right, it is Friday afternoon. We're here to sell some perfect crust pizza liners and janitorial services. They go together well. My name is Sean Litvak. You knew that already. According to Melanie Spring, I shouldn't say that, but I'm going to anyways. I'm here with my friend Eric Bam. But before I introduce Eric, a little housekeeping. If you have not liked, wait, why am I yelling? If you have not liked Litvak Leadership on Facebook and YouTube, and our itty bitty presence on Instagram, which we're going to talk about later today, why not? You're here, you're watching the show, you enjoy the videos, you like the posts, hit the bell, like it, subscribe, make it happen. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce everyone to the number one guest, the man who's been on the show more than anyone else, the man who convinced me to do this, the one, the only, Eric Bam.
Hey, how are you?
I am great. How are you this fine day, my friend?
I'm happy to be here. By the way, I do want to bust you just a little bit because you did a video the other day where you there's Kellen and my son Nicholas is on, but you did a video and you're like, "Hey, I'm Sean Litvak," but you knew that because my name's up here, and I'm like, "You figure this out. You know you don't need to do that. They know who you are. Your name's."
I know, but now don't you have to do that on TikTok because your name doesn't appear, right?
I don't. I wouldn't overthink it. I wouldn't overthink it. So, Brian Weevil. Brian Weevil is a stud. I bet his middle name is Stud. Quite honestly,
see, I just like saying Sean Litvak.
I mean, love saying Sean Litvak.
It's a powerful name.
Did you know the cool thing about Brian Weevil? His parents were so progressive. His middle name is #Stud, is what I heard. So, and he was born in like 1968. So, ahead of the time.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so wait, so many comments. I'm trying to keep up. I don't know Joseph.
Can I talk about something real quick?
I know Joseph. Joseph reached out to me yesterday for janitorial advice. I love helping new people.
Love it. Love it.
Love helping new people.
Can I talk about something that's been on my mind? I don't want to hijack.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Tell me what's been on your mind.
One of the things that's been on my mind lately as I've been walking every day is that I keep like running through my brain, and maybe we can work through this together, but we've got to be a better job as people of being authentically us.
Yes.
And you know what, and not to sound like too weird, cliche and stuff, but what's your true north? Like, what do you want? And I'm like going through a divorce, and I think sometimes we get stuck in, well, it's Eric and Julie. Well, what do Eric and Julie do? What Sean? I can't think of your wife's name. What is
Lauren?
Lauren. What Sean and Lauren? And we become part of this, that sometimes we forget about who we are and what we want. And there you go.
Thank you, Nicholas. Appreciate that, Nick.
But we forget about being authentically us. And I'm in a group in Tulsa, divorced over 40 group, and they're all really cool. And I think sometimes there's a battle in there of just being authentically you, and what does that look like, and having doing things because you feel like it's the right thing to do, not because it's perceived as I should do this. I think one of the weird things in life, you get a little older and get perspective on things. And I think it's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay. It's okay to be selfish. Well, hold on. I mean it from the right standpoint of being authentically you. Look, it's no different than going and volunteering at the soup kitchen, because really it's a selfish thing that gives us a great feeling of what we did. It's very selfish in a lot of ways. But,
it can be. I mean, and I think that we need to be our authentic selves. But the question is, who is our actual authentic self? Are we allowing ourselves to be driven by our flesh, by our earth man? Are we allowing ourselves to be influenced by God and what God wants us to be? So, I hear what you're saying, but I'm a faith guy, and I know you're a faith guy. So I would throw it back at you, is that when you say that you need to, be your authentic self, I think people need to really put some thought into what is their authentic self, as opposed to what's the feel good now self.
Yeah, that was my whole point. I think what we are, what our soul is, and who we are authentically, and I'll stop using that word, but who we genuinely are and who what, and a little bit, not to get too spiritual on this, but it's okay.
Yeah, you can get spiritual. We're a spiritual show. We're spirit filled here.
Yeah. But but God's plan for our life, and but yet God has a plan for your life, but yet you control the stride. And that
you can screw up the plan.
You can, but the stride is you walking authentically in what that is and what your relationship is.
Well, that's because we have free will.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, that's just been on my mind lately. And so I don't have I haven't come to the end of this conversation and what I feel like it's just like the last 10 days, I can't stop thinking about that. So default or design, what's the authentic self? Well, that's what we're talking about. So
it's not default.
No,
it is not default. It is design. That is the authentic self.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Kellen, I really learned who I was in 20. I had the time to delve into it. It was an amazing journey. And I got to tell you, I'm leaping on that. Anyone who came out of COVID, not that we're out of COVID, okay, but anyone who came out of 20 last year and isn't doing something different, hasn't improved themselves, I got to ask you, and Eric, you're going to agree, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. I think the silver lining of COVID was, especially the lockdown period, where everyone's home and kind of freaking out and what's it. I think it was, and you and I are part of a group that felt like we better ourselves and pushed ourselves in different directions, and much like you doing Litvak Leadership Live. And I think it was such a great opportunity. There are gonna be a lot of people that look back 20 years from now and say, I did this because I went through that, and it's going to be the silver lining in COVID. And I hurt for people that passed away and people that struggled and people that lost jobs. But I think it pushed people in a different direction, and that's not a bad thing.
It is not a bad thing. It is, it is seeking the opportunity. I mean, I titled our conversation, "Your efforts added to seeking opportunities always produces success." So anyone who wasn't seeking opportunities and putting effort into it last year, they got what they got.
Well, that was actually a tagline I used for a lot of years, which was effort plus opportunity equals success. And if you put no effort into opportunities, nothing happens. If you put great effort into the wrong things, usually the wrong things happened. And so it's putting the right amount of effort. My boy Mikey Bausch Andolini's in Tulsa talks about don't half-ass anything, go full ass. So if you go full ass on good opportunities and the right opportunities, great things happen. The best things in life happen because of action and motion. You've heard me say this before. I never want to be in my industry. I never want to be perceived as a thought leader.
Right.
I want to be a thought and takes action leader. A thought leader, just like, oh, what does that mean? I want to be a thought.
A big idea person.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I'm going to pull this out of my pocket because it's right here. You talk about a thought and take action leader. I have a laminated goal card, and this is the second one I've done now in the last couple of years. And I've got work goals on one side and personal goals on the other side. And so there's Wes Vivian Wyatt. But I think it's important when you have goals, write them down and carry them around and talk about them.
Absolutely. And
that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity.
It doesn't have to be on paper. So, here's my goals right here on my screensaver. I go to my phone. There they are. I see them every time. It's the first screen that pops up after my lovely wife as my screensaver. So,
by the way, Wes Wyatt has gone live, I think, in 2 days.
Yeah. So what is that all about?
He's amazing. That's what it's about.
102 days.
He's kooky weird.
I mean, you are episode number 154, but it hasn't been 154 in a row.
Right.
And even when I was broadcasting daily, I would still miss days occasionally.
Yeah.
To do it every single day is commitment.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
So Eric is all over the place. If you're looking for him, he's the Eric Bam everywhere. Okay. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Boy, he's got that TikTok presence. YouTube, Snapchat. Then there's his part-time gig, the Penalty Box Live, the what is it? The best darn sports and sales show.
Sports sales and marketing, baby. It's great. Great show. Me and Timmy Lord. It's awesome.
Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, but he's also vice president of sales and marketing at Perfect Crust Pizza Liners and IncredibleBags.com. So many great companies, so much to think about. Oh, and of course, Eric's mom is in the house.
Man, greatest day of her life was when I came out of her vagina.
It's a classic statement from Eric that makes me blush every time he says it, and I'm not even his mother. So, Eric, let me ask you. Okay, so your big three of social media posting, and it's taken me, you and I have known each other since June, I believe it is, of last year. So it's taken me 15 months to really fold this in for about the last month. Family and friends, community, and business in your social media postings everywhere. What do you say to the people who say, well, LinkedIn is all about business. We don't want to know about your family. And what about Instagram should just be happy, fluffy pizza?
No.
Okay. So,
do you want me to expand on that? I think, look, like you mentioned LinkedIn first. I don't talk about my daughters on LinkedIn a ton, but I do. I do talk about, hey, this is my reason to get up. My son is on here. I have no problem doing a post on LinkedIn and saying, hey, I'm really proud of you, dude. Have a great day. Right? Because I'm telling you, whether it's LinkedIn,
there's your older daughter right there.
Yeah, that's my LinkedIn profile picture. It's not like me with a tie on with, that's my daughter. And I do that. I think it's a strategic thing for me, and people can do however they want. But I think when we talk about our family and friends first, we talk about our community second. Okay. When we talk about those two things, we connect over that. Hi, Callie. Callie is amazing. She does a great job. She worked for me for, like 6-7 months and was a rock star, and she's incredible. But when we connect over family and community, the last thing we should talk about is our business. Our business and what we do is selfish, and we want people to come support us, and it's selfish. But if I connect with you over family and I connect with you over community, I'm a lot more likely to buy into what your business needs are and what you want me to do for you. And so
what do you say to the people? I mean, and it may sound surprising to people, but part of me is a very private person, and I have not posted a lot about my family. In fact, I probably post more about Solomon, our golden retriever, than I do about our family. I mean, how do you get people to overcome that?
Well, I think that's just a blockage in your own mind. I think that's you being. I think that's you not realizing the power of what's there, quite honestly. And I'll tell you, you've heard me say this before. Let me say this different. How many people, when Trump was running for president, and they all ran to that Parler app, right? We're all going to be a Parler, and our voices will be heard, but they never deleted their Facebook. Well, why didn't they delete their Facebook? Because they were posting about their family. Because Facebook and Instagram, we post pictures of our family. It is our coffee table photo album book. Yeah. It's what it is. You and I have had arguments about, well, people only post their highlight reels. Well, yeah. And so when you went to your grandma's house 40 years ago, that's what sat on our coffee table was a photo album. And they didn't have a picture of Uncle Brian Weevil on there after he lost his big toe to diabetes. No, it was a high. It was, but
that would have been humorous if they had a photo. It would have.
But it was their family's highlights, and I think that's what social media is for us. And if you're not doing that, I think what happens is you look up, and let's say your daughter, who's in Chicago now, I think in college, she may have grandkids, and the miss for those grandkids, Sean, is going to be that there are no pictures of Grandpa Sean from 30 years ago. They're not there. Because the miss, here's the huge miss in all of it, Sean. We're not running around with Polaroid pictures right now, taking pictures. We're not. Them off. You're not putting 0 pictures anywhere. It is the absolute miss. I've wondered about putting family in my videos. Joseph, you totally should put family in your videos. And I don't know what Joseph does. I don't know if he's in sales or.
He owns a cleaning company. Look at that shiny floor.
Joe, I'm gonna call you Joe. Joseph.
Joe, your face should be there too instead of the shiny floor.
Exactly. I had a conversation with a guy who owns a pizzeria in Sophia's Pizzeria in San Antonio 2 weeks ago, and his daughter's name is Sophia, and he's actually started doing videos with her, and they're very rough. But she's not a spokesman. She's a 10-year-old girl, but she's talking about, well, we use this pen in our restaurant because this is why. And my dad said this is the best. And it's incredible. And people have just gone and gravitate to it because we connect over that. And Joseph, I'll answer what you posted in a different way. I had a pizza customer who I was friends with her on Facebook. She called me a year and a half ago, or she sent me a Facebook message and she said, "Hey, do you have time to talk?" And I said, "Yes." And so I sent her my number and she called me. And the first 7 minutes of that call was about my two daughters and her daughter, because her daughter was the same age as mine. And we literally talked about that for 7 minutes before finally she said, "Hey, by the way, I want to talk to you about perfect crust pizza liners."
And you got story after story like that, because that's every one of them version I've heard of that story.
But Joseph, like, that's your business and what you do for a living, whether you own the business or you work at the business, right? It's your livelihood. And it's okay to talk about your family and for people to realize that it's not just this one-dimensional dude and this is all he does. There are more, there's more dimensions to me and more levels to me than just perfect crust pizza liners. You should talk about your family. You should, and when I say, I'll read that in a minute, Nicholas. But Joseph, when I say talk about your family, talk about your kids and talk about this is why I get up and go to work and post pictures of them. And when I say talk about your community, today's Friday. And Joseph, I don't know where you live. It could be, I live in Bixby, Oklahoma. It could be sharing a video and saying, "Hey, go Spartans tonight." It could be the local 4-H. It could be the more that your community perceive that and be involved, right? The more people connect with you. We connect over family. We connect over community. You talk about your business last because, quite honestly, nobody gives a shit about that because it's very selfish. But they'll care.
And they're going to figure it out.
They'll care. They'll care because they connect on the other two things.
So Nick says, it's all about the extrovert to be successful on social media.
Does it seem that people are forced to be extroverts? No, it's not, because I know some incredible introverts that are great at social media because I don't buy into that, Nick. I think it's easy. Now, is it hard to get used to being on camera and on screen and but it's not hard to take great photos.
No.
It's not. In fact, I would probably actually maybe argue the other side of it, that an introvert could take 12, 14 pictures and selfies before they actually find one that they really like, and then they post that. I just take one and just send it because
done.
At this point, I know that's just what it is, right? But I don't think social media is forcing people to be extroverts. I think, Gary Vaynerchuk, if you're a Gary Vaynerchuk guy, he says that social media is the great equalizer and that it really shows people and who they are. If you were selfish, social media just enhances the fact that you're selfish. But if you have a giant heart, social media enhances the fact that you have a giant heart.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't think it. Well, and let me say this: if forcing extroverts out of their comfort zone, is that a bad thing? No, I don't think so.
Forcing introverts out of their comfort zone.
Forcing introverts out of their. I think that I don't think that's a bad thing either.
Well, and Gary Vaynerchuk says also that people should be posting 3, 4, 5, 7, 12 times a day on every social media channel, whereas Shay Rowbottom says you should post one good video every 2 or 3 days on LinkedIn. So there's different approaches.
But Shay Rowbottom is big on LinkedIn. Now, every other social media that I followed her on, doesn't have as big a presence. But I would say, because Joseph's on here and he's made himself a target. But if I own a business, I'm posting 3 times a day. I talked about that in Vegas when I was on the stage. Like, post 3 times a day. Once about your family, once about your community, once about your business. See,
and are you posting that as Eric, or are you posting that as Perfect Crust Pizza Liners?
Both. Because here's the thing. We look back and we remember back to 12 years ago on Facebook, when you would have to go to someone's wall and see what all they posted. Look, social media is a moving parade.
It is. Right?
You could post 3. Look, I have my mom set as a favorite on Facebook. I still don't see all of her stuff. So if you're worried about like posting too much, and your friends or your family or your customers are like, oh my gosh, it's too much, they ain't seeing it all.
They're not seeing it. Especially if you're on LinkedIn.
They may see 1 out of 3. Post 3 times a day.
Yeah. I mean, but so how do you manage the business branding, the personal branding, not the crux of, but I'm saying the volume of it. So if you've got business branding and personal branding, and you've got LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Do you have a Pinterest?
Yes.
You do. And I bet you're the Eric Bam there.
I am.
Yeah. Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok. So if you're talking about 3 a day, that's 6 a channel. So then that would be what? You could easily get up to 30 in 30 posts.
But you make, by the way, I want to throw this out for anybody that watches this. Pro tip. Go open up a browser and open up, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. Open all those up and go to all the little things where you can change your name. And it's easy for me to go at the Eric Bam. Well, where can I find at the Eric Bam? Where can I find it? Everyone should go do that. It's just
that's Sean Litvak.
Right. It's Sean Litvak just may be available just because it's kind of a pretty unique name. But I would challenge, that would be my challenge to everybody. If you're watching this, go make your handle the same on every bit of social media. Makes your life really
and it's interesting. My wife has launched a website, Lauren Lee Art. Okay. And when we went to go make the Facebook page, Lauren Lee Art was already taken.
Wow.
So we had to get Lauren Lee Artistry. We made that her social media, and then we went and bought the URL Lauren Lee Artistry. So if people get confused, it sends them over to Lauren Lee Art. I mean, so when you're starting something, you really got to take a look at it and try to find something unique or figure out the workaround.
Yeah. Back to your point though about creating all of this, all these posts, and I can take like one great photo. Like there's a photo I did the other day of me and my daughter like waiting for the bus or whatever, and I posted that on Instagram. And my personal Instagram is connected to my Facebook, so it's sent straight to my Facebook, right? Then I put it on Twitter, and actually I didn't put that on Twitter. I don't put that much on Twitter anymore. I use Twitter for like timely news. So there's when we talk about your community and talk about your business and talk about your personal, so that photo right there, like I took that photo, it went straight to Facebook. I also took that same photo and I put it on Snapchat. So it takes a matter of like a minute. I mean, it's just not.
So Facebook and Instagram, and Instagram just it makes me angry some days because it seems like everything I do goes wrong there. What do people look at? The scroll, the stories, the reels,
stories.
So it's all about, and same thing on Facebook. Is it all about stories?
No, I don't think so on Facebook. I think Facebook did stories because they were doing really well on Instagram. I'll be very transparent. I pay very little attention to stories on Facebook. Very little. I tend to just scroll. And I think that's what a lot of people do. I mean, LinkedIn did stories and they failed miserably.
And they're getting rid of them.
Are they?
Someone said that.
Yeah.
I heard it somewhere. Instagram Reels. So
yeah, well,
long
he's
form
got some
video.
success. So here's the thing with Instagram. Instagram wants their reels to do better, so they're rewarding it by if you post a reel. So Nicholas, my son, posted a couple of reels in the last couple of weeks. He posted a story that got 35 views, but he posted 2 reels that got 5,000 views.
Wow. I've been posting reels, but I've been doing it from my computer. Should you be doing the reels from your phone or from your computer?
I think Instagram's okay. Instagram just started rolling that out now where you can do stories and stuff and video and stuff from your computer, which was fine. But I don't think that makes a difference. I think you probably don't get very many views because you're pretty ugly and not very likable.
Well, and frankly, I don't get. So here's the all important banner. Help me with Instagram. I just think Instagram amongst our generation is confusing. It's difficult to grab it.
I'm in your generation. I'm not confused by it at all.
Okay, so what do you? So how do you post there? Not how the actual how, but what is the philosophical approach, or is it all back to the big 3?
Yes,
Everything's the big 3.
It's back to that. I think it's back to talking about friends, community, and business. Right. But Instagram, the thing that to me that's different about Instagram versus Facebook or TikTok or Snapchat is hashtags. People will search hashtags. So,
on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll search those. So that's going to help you a little more. But, we talk a lot at both of our companies about social media. For us, it's a grind. It's every day. There's, it's process over project. Okay. You can't just one day have a project of like, we're going to be great at Instagram. And it just happens. It's every day, 7 days a week. And it's posting and it's what works. And, Rev Ciencio, a friend of ours, I watched him one day talk about, he had run a test for like 14 days over putting the hashtags in the post or putting the hashtags in the comments. And he realized that putting the hashtags in the comments he got the same amount of traction from that, but it didn't look as ugly in the post.
Wow.
So he started doing it. So I don't think there's some like silver bullet to Instagram. I think it's process. I think it's doing it every day and getting better at it. And look, there's nothing wrong with Googling like how can I be better at Instagram? Like I think that's out there and that's real and they're great people. That there's a gal, Kara Brisky, told me to follow. Gosh, what is her name? I can't. It's Star something or other. And I'm gonna have to look it up right now because if I don't, I'm gonna. But
while you're looking it up, I'll tell you, I think I'm most prolific posting on LinkedIn. But if I'm not engaging with other people's comment, LinkedIn has the social sales score. And I can tell when I get busy on projects because I'm not engaging as much. And my social sales score went down 3 points in the last 10 days.
No, I don't pay any attention to that social sales score on.
But I look at it that I haven't been giving to other people. I've been selfish, just posting, saying, look at me, look at me.
Yeah. Well, Nick's point here, create different content. That's a Gary Vee thing. Be contextual is what he said. Be contextual. Like what is this app? How is it different than Facebook? Like Nick's talking about doing reels. Reels are contextual to Facebook, to Instagram and they get better track. I mean, like there's something to be said for all that. But if there was a silver bullet, everybody would be doing it. And I think I think it's about you being you to the audience that you're looking for.
Nick is the Robert Booker of today's interview. Haven't seen Robert in a while. Marketing is arguably the most difficult to track in regards to conversation. How do you track ROI on social?
There are ways to track ROI on social, and it could be through a direct link to a sample page or a direct link to you can in some ways track some of that. The hardest thing about social media and marketing in general, I think a lot of times marketing is like yelling into a dark room and you just don't know what everyone thinks, or it's doing a lot of work, and then you how does it make me feel? And I talk about that a lot. Like how is this going to make us feel? And sometimes and
as
quite
the
honestly,
person delivering the message or to the people receiving?
Person receiving this, how does it make them feel? I mean, you could do this great pitch, right?
Right.
Let's say you did this great social media video and it was you got off, you're like, man, I killed that, right? Sometimes I think we look at social media and we say,
nobody watches it.
I want 1,000 people to respond to this. Okay.
Zach Krupp is in the house. Everyone buy his book.
Speaking of this, so we could do a social media post and want this to hit 1,000 people, and 1,000 people run to our website, but sometimes it's just about that one. And if you look in the business you're in, the business I'm in, like right. we want to post on social media and hit 1 million people. Okay. But if you added 365 customers over the course of the year, you would be like, dude, we're throwing a party and I'm the greatest thing since.
It'd be more than throwing a party. It'd be, let's take a cruise.
Right. So sometimes we get focused on we get focused on how many views and it's quality. It's quality over quantity sometimes. Zach talks about that sometimes. He if you don't follow Zach Krupp on Instagram, you should, because this is one of the best young dudes that I know, and it's constantly about grind and hustle and pain. He has no idea. So I'm walking every day. And there was a day,
I need to find his book. I got it on the shelf. Zach, put the name of your book up there so everyone can buy it. I've got it here, but I don't want to go off camera.
Here's one of the small wins in social media that sometimes we don't see. He's been going to the gym every day, and his thing has been like #dues paid. Okay,
and he's putting it on TikTok.
There was a day in the last 10 days where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to walk 6 miles today. And I literally laid there in bed. I think it was last Sunday, and I'm like, shit, dues paid. And there it was from him
at the gym.
There it was from homeboy, and I got up and I went for a walk. I got up and got it done. And so, sometimes we don't know who we're affecting and how we're affecting, but we just got to keep putting our message out there, because I think I know what your message is. I know what my message is. Right. And if we can affect one person, or one person can affect us in the right way, like Zach did to me the other day. And Zach, I see you. I love you, my man. I see you every day. Dues paid. You keep it up, because he got me. And I think it was last Sunday where I'm like, nope. Dadgummit. I got it.
Well, and you don't know who's actually looking at your social media. Yeah, when you're looking at Facebook stories, you can see who's looking at them. And if you put up a poll on LinkedIn, you can see who's voted for it. But I have people come up to me and they'll be like, and they'll say something to me, and I'm like, and I look at them, they're like, yeah, you posted that 3 weeks ago. And it's someone that I would think is not even paying attention.
Right.
And it comes at me from out of the blue, and I was like, oh my, they're paying attention.
Well, yeah, I'll throw this out there as we're kind of talking about this, but we've talked in the past about when you post, talk about stuff that inspires, connects, and educates. Don't talk about COVID vaccinations, and that's not geared towards Zach, because he has been. But don't talk about COVID. Don't talk about negative stuff in your life. And I get some people can
talk about the highlight reel.
Well, because you know what? Because of this reason and this reason only. Birds of a feather flock together. If I get on Facebook and say, I feel like crap today and today's going to be awful, well, guess what? My friends are going to line up and say, well, I feel like crap today too and today's going to be awful. Yeah. But if I literally the next day say, I feel great today and today I'm going to have a great day, those same friends will say, you know what? It is a good day and I am going to feel bad. And you don't know how you affect people. I think for me, and everybody's different. I got called what was the word I got called not too long ago? Anyway, I'll think of it in a minute.
It was something like you were like just floating above it all.
Yeah. I was some.
It was worse than narcissistic.
Yeah, it was some ridiculous optimism thing, and I said, well, I'd rather be that way.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I'd rather be that way than be the opposite. At least I'm gonna. I want to be around somebody that can find the positive in their worst days versus be around somebody that can find the negative in their best days. Well, that was, by the way, very profound. Somebody needs to write that down. That was good.
Say it again.
I want to be around people that find the positive in their worst days than find the negative in their best days.
So, and for all those people who are like, well, but I don't want to unfriend the negative people. Well, there's this thing called mute or don't follow. Unfollow them. I'll mute people for 30 days. Yeah. And then when they pop up again, I'm like, you blew it again.
I just unfollow people on Facebook. Just unfollow. What did Bruce say?
Let's see. Bruce says that Gary, I saw a post on LinkedIn from Gary V about Vax, got blasted that LinkedIn isn't Facebook. And the people who blast people on LinkedIn because they're like, this is business, don't put up something like that. Yet someone puts up some, I'm just going to say the phrase, tear-jerking story that gets 900,000 views. Well, that's not about business either, people.
Right.
But it's more socially acceptable to do that.
Yeah. By the way, Nicholas, what do you post? Thoughts create circumstances, not the other way around. And I agree with that 1,000,000%. I think I was talking to Pete this morning from Uncle Pete on what's his show on
YouTube.
Yes, and I believe what Nicholas wrote there 100%. I think it's spot on because I think when we have ideas or we have a gut feeling, I think those come from God and those come from the universe or whatever you want to call that. And I think Pete asked me this morning, he said, what life advice would you give someone? And I said, I think it's this. I said, when we need to learn to listen to our gut more, because I think our gut is God talking to us, and we don't take action sometimes on what that gut feeling is, right? And I think it's one of the biggest muscle opportunities we have to grow. We've got to work that muscle, and we've got to learn to listen to ourselves and learn to listen to, we perceive intuition sometimes as a negative, like, well, my intuition said that he was going to stab me with a knife, but it could be my intuition said this is a great opportunity. And I
would add to that.
Hold on. You just popped Philly up there, and the other day I got on Phil's show. I was scrolling through Facebook and I had something else to go do. And Phil was live and talk about intuition. My intuition said, I'll be late for that. I want to listen to this. And sure enough, it was a great conversation he was having about life, and it was incredible. And I Phil, it was the coach renovator or whatever, and it literally was my intuition, it was my gut saying, you know what, I need to listen to this today. And I didn't know why, but when I did, I took something away from it. I was 10 minutes late for a Zoom call I had to be on, but it was one of the best 10 minutes of my day, to be very honest.
So this connects. Nick's question connects with what I was going to tell you. When you're saying listen to your gut, I was going to say you need to pray every day to listen to God and hear from him, which goes to Nick's question. Do you have a morning routine?
Yes.
So when my morning routine is running right, I begin the day with prayer.
Yeah.
Then I work out. Then I walk the Solomon. Then I come back and shower and get ready for work. That is my compressed morning routine. Eric, what is yours?
Mine is somewhat similar to that. I'll tell you, if you go back and you look like at my Instagram and Facebook, almost every morning before 7:00, I post something, I don't want to say inspirational, but I post something that motivates me. Okay. Almost every single day. And sometimes it's either I heard it the night before, I searched for it. I was scrolling through the internet. I just woke up and I'm looking and something jumped out at me. There are also, hey, Randy, Randy is so handsome and amazing. And I love Randy Chafee.
I want to be Randy when I grow up.
We all do.
We all want to be Randy.
But you know what? I get up and sometimes it's as easy as me just posting on Facebook. I'm blessed to get another day, right? I'm just blessed to get another day. And I think
or you're wicked happy. That's one of your other phrases.
Wicked blessed to have another day. And I think, and just to be very, very transparent, do I wake up in a great mood every single freaking day? No, I don't. But sometimes, so 78% of the time when I'm posting something in the morning that's motivational or a quote or I feel great to be here, 78% of the time that is truly authentically me and how I feel in the mornings. I genuinely wake up that way. Okay. The
All
other
right.
22% is I didn't wake up in a great mood and I posted something to get my mind going in the right direction so that I can look at that and go, hey, shoot, I got this. That makes sense to me. I got this. And it starts my day. And I don't know who I'm kickstarting at the same time.
And frankly, if you consistently post things that encourage yourself and others, then when those posts from years ago pop up, you look at that and you go, I am that guy still. I need to do that. Wait, I want to go back to Nick's question. Oh, Nick, you are full of questions. This one's easy. Based on the social media push, what do you think about a social media detox for a week or two? If you want to, do it. If you don't want to, don't.
I agree with what Sean said, but I quite honestly, if you need to detox from social media for 2 weeks, like I get it, but I don't get it. It's part of my life. It's part of what I do. It's like I don't detox from you, Nick. Like I don't detox from work. Like I think I think it's just part of our lives. Whether some people hate it and they look at social media as the devil. And Sean and I had this great conversation in the last 14, 15 months about how if your social media is negative, it's your fault.
It's your fault.
Those are your friends.
I tell that people all the time. It's your fault.
Yeah, I do get it, Nick, but I don't at the same time. What are you going to detox from TV? Or are you going to detox from radio? Because all the stuff that you're seeing on social media, you're seeing in other places. I don't think there's a reason to detox. I think maybe it's just change. Just change it up a little bit.
Well, it's garbage in, garbage out. Yeah. Good in, good out.
Unfollow on Facebook is your best friend.
So this one I think is interesting from Nick. Do you write a daily journal? I have at different times, but frankly, social media is kind of a daily journal.
That was exactly like for me. My social media is now I will say, like, I have this journal here that I write in, and I actually have another one sitting here on my desk too, and they're different. And so I do write things down, but I think I mean, look, a lot of people's social media, Facebook is their diary. They'll write and say anything they want, which someone said to me the other day, I think you're kind of guarded. And I said, really? And this person said, yeah, I think you're kind of guarded. And I said, but you know what? I am in some respects. I am kind of, because you won't see me post about negative stuff.
No.
I mean, you just won't. And partially.
Who is it going to help? Who is it going to help if you post something negative?
Nobody. And that's why I don't do it. But.
Leads into Randy's comment. Negative makes Randy look for positive.
There you go.
It is so true. So Eric, what kind of things pop up on your social media memories recycling? Because I'll tell you what's popping up for me now. Every episode of Litvak Leadership Live is popping up. I'm like, I remember that conversation.
Yeah.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I've been on Facebook for right at 13 years. There'll be 13 years over. And so I get 13 years worth of, see, and that's one of the other benefits. Like, I get to see family stuff like every day from years past, and my girls and my son, and I get to see all that stuff, and I get to see business wins, and I get to see quotes that I loved, and I get to see all that stuff. I will tell you this. Now, I have, like, if you go back 12, 13 years ago, sometimes something pops up. I'm like, why did I post that? Delete. And I will literally delete it. Hey, you never know. I could run for president one day and somebody could scroll back to my Facebook. You remember the time he said,
it's on a server somewhere. Yeah. It's on a server. They'll find it.
So I do go back and delete things once in a while, but I love, Phil to talk about, on Facebook, it's called On This Day. I love that part of it. Cause and it is honestly, you talk about a weekend, a daily routine. It is literally one of the first things I look for every day on Facebook. Is like, I literally intentionally go and look at memories. I go to memories because I love to scroll back and look at it.
And now does Instagram have memories or just Facebook?
No, Snapchat does. You can see like today it popped up and said, "Hey, 2 years ago you posted this."
So Eric, what? How did you create your StreamYard branding, Sean? Canva.
There you go. Looks great.
Canva. And if people go back either through Facebook or on YouTube, they'll see the evolution of this, of not only the thumbnails changing over time, but the background changing. Got the logos, the green. It was all black at first, and then it was green. The very first Litvak leadership was when I was driving out to an appointment, and Eric and I went on live, or Eric called me. You remember? And there we were on No, we were on Instagram.
Instagram.
Where it was the two of us, and it's listed on YouTube as the pilot episode of Litvak Leadership Live. So go to YouTube, check it out. That'd be Litvak Leadership on YouTube.
By the way, Nicholas said, I'm referring to the deepest things you're experiencing in life, the struggles you go through, the things you're learning. Hey, I'm all for writing that stuff down, but you know what? Those are conversations for you and Janae. Those and
or you and God.
Yeah, or you and God and Janae. Those aren't conversations for Facebook, and people want to post that stuff on social. And I know when you're talking about journaling, journal all you want, but those are conversations for you. And Sean, you mentioned like a morning routine and prayer, and I find some of the best just prayer and thought for me every day now is when I walk.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. There is a thing among people of faith called prayer walking, where you're walking and praying.
Yeah.
You know, it works together. Nick. Social media like TV for kids, can it diminish creativity and free thinking? So this brings up another point. I cannot tell you the last time I watched something on TV. The last thing that I streamed was one of my favorite movies of all time, A Knight's Tale. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a story of overcoming. And I can't tell you the last thing I watched before that.
I can tell you
so little TV.
Ted Lasso.
Who is Ted Lasso?
Apple TV. You've got to watch Ted Lasso, Sean. It's incredible.
Have no idea who or what it is.
Check it out. Apple TV, Ted Lasso. It's Jason Sudeikis, and it is 2 seasons, and it is mind-blowing, amazing. I know you well enough to know you will love it.
And if I have an Apple phone, can I watch it?
No, I don't know. It's through Apple TV. It cost me $4.99. Can we talk about one thing? We'll laugh about it.
We can talk about anything.
I'm going to say it. We're going to both laugh about it, and then literally we're going to move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Clubhouse.
Okay, so I'm even taking off the glasses for this one. When Clubhouse was huge, and people were like, hey, Sean, I've got an invitation. Do you want to go on Clubhouse? My response was, thank God I have an Android phone, and when it goes to Android, I won't accept it. And then when it went to Android, people were like, well, now that it's here, do you want it? And I'm like, no, I got enough to do. I don't want to just sit around and listen to people pontificate. I can do that myself.
Yes.
What say you?
Oh, I agree 100%. I didn't get it to begin with because we live in this world of video. And I mean, you and I have talked about video for 14, 15, 16 months now and doing this. And like Clubhouse felt like some weird version of radio to me. And the fact it died is not surprising to me at all. In fact, I read a stat 2 weeks ago. It was in the top 10 of apps deleted off people's phones.
You know, now Callanan and Steve Rizzo had a Clubhouse show at one point. I don't know. Are they still even doing that, or is it done?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Mark Gassert, I got to tell you about Mark. Mark is I think the number one person who I've never met, never spoken to, but I think I know more about because our circles intersect.
Peachiest place.
Hello, Mark. Good to meet you. We should have a conversation.
Interesting fact. Did you know that Mark's middle name is Teresa?
Teresa?
Yes, after his great grandmother.
Interesting.
Yes.
Daily routines. Everyone up. Clubhouse, an interesting concept. All right. So summarizing. We've gone 49, 50 minutes, almost an hour. This will be one of the longer shows in the can. Eric, what say you balancing this? This is where I'm going to hand it over to you. In it, like I haven't most of the show anyways, but hand it over to you. How do people balance or integrate social media, branding, and physical life?
Well, I think we already talked about that. I think we talked about, talking about your family and the thing about talking about your family is it validates them and it makes them feel really good. Talk about your community. Talking about your community gets you community involved, right? Talk about your business last. The thing I do want to finish this, because I know you will give me the floor and I have it now, and so I'm going to talk about it.
You have it.
If you look at my Facebook, across the top, it's got my photo, but underneath that, it says give, grow, gratitude, and go. And I want to talk about those 4 things because I think we don't give enough in society and we don't give enough as people. Okay. And I think that God blesses you tenfold over for what you give with the right heart. And so people need to give more. I'll tell you, this happened to me 3 or 4 months ago. There was a gal on Facebook and she posted a video and her son needed new shoes. And I literally sent her a $50 Walmart gift card. Right. And 4 days later, I got a $500 check in the mail for something totally different. And I gave with the right heart. I didn't post it on Facebook. I didn't look what I just gave with the right heart. And so
sowing and reaping.
Yeah, big time. I think God blesses you for what you give, So give and grow is the second word. I think we've got to continually grow our souls and grow our minds and try to be better. And, when I'm walking every day, what I do every day when I walk? I listen to 1 or 2 songs that kind of motivate me a little bit and make me feel good. And then I'm listening to an audiobook every day. How am I getting better? How am I getting better? How am I getting better? And I'm doing stuff like watching Phil and the Renovator, or I'm watching Zach Krupp, or I'm watching Litvak Leadership Live. I'm doing those things that feed me and make me better. Okay. And then the third one is gratitude. Man, gratitude is I think gratitude is I think the 2 hardest things to teach our kids are work ethic and gratitude. And you can't teach them. You can't say, this is how you do it. You know how they learn that? They learn by watching you do those 2 things. They watch you work hard when it's important to be at work, and they watch you be thankful. They watch you say, hey, thanks for helping. Thanks for doing this. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. You are awesome. Thank you. And the last thing is go, right? So we can give, we can have gratitude, we can grow. But when we do all those things, the key to that is action. We've got to go. We've got to freaking go. We've got to get up. It's back to that whole, I don't want to be a thought leader. I want to be a thought and take action leader. We've got to go. You've got to get your ass up every day and go. The people that are most successful in life, they get their ass up and they go when they don't want to, when it's not easy. That's when we've got to go. And I'll tell you that to me, sometimes, like I have that goal card I just showed. And I think when we have a thought, write it down, put a date on it, work your ass off, tell your friends about it, pray about it, learn about it, and freaking go. Go get it. If it's something you want, go get it. We get so consumed with what other people think about what we're doing. And the reality is they're so consumed with what everyone else is thinking about themselves that we get caught up in this stupid little dance of stupid shit that holds us back mentally. Right here, holds us back because I'm worried about what Sean might think. Sean's worried about what Sean's thinking about. Do what you need to do. Do your life. Go, 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 go. Freaking go.
And find your circle of influence that gets you, that when you post, there was a night that I was in Lexington and I was eating dinner and I got on our Megamind group chat. And I sat, you may remember this, and I listed every single thing that I am working on, both professionally and personally. I did it for 2 reasons. One, it felt good to write it and see it all in one place.
Yeah.
And two, we don't get together as a group anymore. And
Yeah.
I wanted everyone to see the hard work that I was putting in
Yeah.
to inspire them, not for our group to go, gosh, Sean, you're hitting it. I wanted people to see what I was doing to spur them on to do more. And that's what I would, and I think you would agree, that's what part of Go is.
Oh yeah. And that was what happened. I remember that day you did that. I think when you're around the right people, that it's not, your post wasn't selfish, look at me, braggadocious. Your post was like, I got a lot of good stuff going on, you know, and written for, and I know you well enough. It was written from like a thankful gratitude space, not, you know, man, blessings flow into a space of gratitude, man. You know, more thankful we are for what we've got, the more that God blesses us, dude. And by the way, my son said, you know what I love about you? And I know exactly what it is. It's everything. And you laugh. So
that's something you taught him.
The funny little thing is he knows he's heard it a million times, but like with his two younger sisters, whenever their friends come over, and we've got a friend spending the night tomorrow night, Reagan, and Reagan's heard it a million times. Reagan, you know what I love about you? And she'll say everything. Like, but they've all heard it for years, and they all know, all these kids in my life, because I will tell you, I had a father that was an abusive alcoholic shithead, and I didn't hear I love you a lot, and I didn't hear that I was cared for a lot. And so I love to tell those kids, because you just never know. Yeah. You just never know. So
you need to give that positive, encouraging feedback.
Yeah. Well, Sean, look, I want to wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
I want to wrap this up. Thank you for being my guest today on
You're always
Eric
so fun.
Leadership Live. Who's your guest next week? I would like to make a motion for
the
Nicholas
guest is Richard Jaso II.
Okay, so the week after that is Nicholas Burns.
Nick can come back again. I'd love to have Nick again. Nick, I'll reach out to you. You can come back.
Yeah.
Week after that, I gotta look at.
And can we real quick plug your wife's stuff? What has she got going on?
So my wife has launched, and the full launch is coming next week for Lauren Lee Art. You can go check out the website now. It's there. You can, if you go into Facebook and Instagram and type Lauren Lee Art or Lauren Lee Artistry, both of them will pop up. Like her page, follow her, check out her artwork. You'll be blessed for it. She's so talented. It's going to be
paint that picture over your shoulder?
No, that is not. That picture is not a picture that my wife
George Washington's. That's still George Washington.
That is George Washington.
You're going to rep your wife. You better put a picture of your
I told her I need to put her art up, so we're going to work on that.
Yeah, no doubt. We got a couple of the comments. You might as well throw them up here while we're still here. Phil, you know what does he love about us? Everything, absolutely everything.
Ooh, here we. The mark of the individual has one. Yes, beat Goliath.
Yeah, that's it. Mark Teresa Gassert, my man.
All right, everyone. That's Litvak Leadership Live. All of my social media is about to pop up. Like it, follow it, ring the bell, subscribe, so you are so you're notified whenever I go live. Eric, thank you again. Hang out. We'll have the post-conversation interview in 1 minute.